What happens when friendship, love, and teamwork come together on a quiet farm? In this heartwarming story, Officer Lee calls on his two loyal colleagues, Doug and Hung, to help him tidy Sam's farm. Their laughter and effort transform the messy yard into a welcoming place ready for a special gathering. As the day turns into evening, Sam and Lee invite their friends to stay for a simple yet joyful dinner where bonds grow stronger around the table. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and join us in discovering this touching tale of unity, care, and happiness. The morning sun spread its golden light across the quiet town as Officer Lee stood outside the small but charming farm that belonged to Sam. He had been thinking about this moment for days, about how he wanted to bring a sense of warmth and belonging into Sam's life. To him, the farm was not just a piece of land. It was a place where bonds could be strengthened, where laughter could echo, and where Sam could feel truly at home with his circle of friends. With that thought in mind, Lee picked up his phone and called two of his closest colleagues, Duke and Hung. They were more than just co-workers to him. They were loyal friends who had stood by his side through the ups and downs of police work. Today, however, Lee was not asking for backup in the line of duty, but for something far more personal and heartfelt. When Duke and Hung arrived, the three of them stood together at the edge of the farm, taking in the sight of the overgrown grass, scattered tools, and the untamed garden that clearly needed care. Lee's eyes lit up with determination as he shared his idea. He explained how he wanted to tidy the farm, trim the grass, and make the place shine not only for Sam's comfort, but also for a special occasion he was secretly planning. A welcoming party where Sam could meet their colleagues in a warm, friendly atmosphere. As Lee spoke, his voice carried both sincerity and excitement. He wanted everything to be perfect, not extravagant, but filled with the kind of simple beauty that comes from effort and genuine intention. Hearing this, Duke and Hung exchanged a glance and smiled knowingly. They understood that this meant more to Lee than just pulling weeds and clearing a few corners of the farm. It was about showing Sam that she belonged, that she was part of something greater than herself, a community built not just on word, but on care, trust, and friendship. Without hesitation, they clapped him on the shoulder and agreed to help. Their easy smiles and lighthearted jokes eased the weight Lee had been carrying, and suddenly the task ahead no longer seemed daunting. For the three friends, this was not just a chore, but the beginning of something meaningful, a shared effort that promised not only a cleaner farm, but also a deeper connection among them all. With their plans set in motion, the three men rolled up their sleeves and got to work. The afternoon sun was warm but forgiving, casting long golden rays across the fields as if blessing their efforts. Duke took charge of mowing the tall, unruly grass, guiding the machine with practiced ease, while Hung began hauling away old tools and wooden planks that had been left leaning against the barn. Lee, with his usual sense of order and determination, focused on the garden, pulling weeds from between rows of vegetables and rearranging the flower pots near the porch. Each task, though simple on its own, seemed to breathe new life into the farm when done together. The air quickly fills with the sounds of activity, grass being cut, wood being stacked, and laughter echoing across the yard. Duke, always the joker, teased Lee about being more serious in pulling weeds than he was during police interrogations, which made Hung burst into laughter so hard he nearly dropped the basket of tools he was carrying. Lee chuckled and shook his head, secretly grateful for their lightheartedness. Hard work always felt lighter with good company, and today every small effort seemed to carry a deeper purpose. Sam occasionally stepped out from the farmhouse to bring them cool drinks or a plate of fresh fruit. Each time she appeared, the men felt renewed energy. She smiled warmly as she watched them. Three dedicated officers, not in their uniforms of duty, but in simple shirts, sleeves rolled high, working side by side like family. The sight touched her heart, making her realize how much care Lee was pouring into this little dream of his. She offered to help, but Lee insisted she rest, saying the surprise would be worth it once everything was ready. As the hours passed, the once chaotic yard slowly transformed. The grass lay neatly trimmed, the barn stood proud and organized, and the garden bloomed with newfound charm. They even set up a sturdy wooden table under the large oak tree, its branches spreading wide like a protective canopy. Perfect for the gathering Lee envisioned. By the time the sun began its descent, painting the sky in hues of amber and rose, the farm looked entirely different, fresh, inviting, and alive with possibility. What had begun as a simple favor between friends had turned into a joyful, unforgettable afternoon, filled with jokes, sweat, and the quiet satisfaction of shared accomplishment. By the time the last tool was set aside and the final sweep of the yard was complete, the farm seemed to radiate a new kind of charm. The evening air was cool and gentle, carrying the soft fragrance of freshly cut grass and blooming flowers. Lee stood back with Duk and Ung, admiring the change they had created together. His chest swelled with gratitude, not only for the farm's fresh beauty, but also for the unwavering friendship of the two men who had turned his vision into reality. Sam, who had watched the transformation unfold with awe, stepped forward, her eyes shining with appreciation. With a bright smile, she extended an invitation. "You've worked so hard today. Please stay and share dinner with us." Inside the farmhouse, the dining table was soon filled with simple yet heartfelt dishes: bowls of steaming rice, fragrant soups, fresh vegetables from the garden, and roasted chicken that Sam had been preparing quietly while they worked. The warm glow of the lanterns lit up their faces as they sat down together, laughter already spilling into the room before the first bite was taken. Duk raised his glass, offering a cheerful toast to teamwork, while Ung chimed in with a joke about how they had turned from policemen into part-time farmers. The table erupted in laughter, and Lee could not help but feel that this moment, so ordinary on the surface, held something extraordinary within it. As they ate, stories flowed easily. Memories from their shared cases, lighthearted banter, and new dreams for the future. Sam listened, sometimes laughing, sometimes simply watching with quiet joy. For her, this gathering was more than a meal. It was a sign that she was truly being welcomed into their circle, embraced not only by Lee, but also by the friends who were like brothers to him. She felt safe, cherished, and deeply grateful. The evening stretched on, filled with warmth and contentment. Outside, the sky darkened into a blanket of stars, while inside, the farmhouse glowed with light and companionship. When the meal came to an end, no one was in a hurry to leave. They lingered at the table, sipping tea, trading more stories, savoring the kind of happiness that comes not from grand gestures, but from shared presence. Lee looked around the table at Sam's gentle smile and his friend's laughter, and knew with certainty that this was the beginning of something even more beautiful, a life where love, friendship, and simple joys would always have a place at their table.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các khán giả của kênh Nhí Tử Sam Review. Rất vui vì ngày hôm nay lại được gặp lại các bạn trong tập phim ngày hôm nay. Trong tập phim ngày hôm nay thì cảnh sát Ni đã mời đồng nghiệp của mình là Đức và Hùng đến trang trại của Sam chơi và giúp sức anh trang hoàng dọn dẹp lại trang trại để chuẩn bị cho đám cưới của anh và Sam sẽ được tổ chức tại đây với sự góp mặt của đồng nghiệp của các anh, với sự góp mặt của đồng nghiệp của cảnh sát Nhi nữa. Buổi dọn dẹp diễn ra rất là vui vẻ và hạnh phúc. Sau buổi dọn dẹp thì đồng nghiệp của cảnh sát Nhi đã ở lại dùng bữa tối với Sam và cảnh sát Nhi. Liệu rằng đám cưới của Sam và Ni có thuận lợi để diễn ra hay không, hay là còn khó khăn nào để ngăn trở hai người đến với nhau hay không? Tất cả sẽ được hé lộ vào các tập tiếp theo, sẽ được phát sóng hàng ngày trên kênh Nghĩ Từ Sam Review. Các bạn hãy nhớ bấm vào nút đăng ký kênh để nhận được thông báo mới nhất về tập phim sẽ được phát sóng hàng ngày trên kênh nha. Cảm ơn các bạn rất nhiều. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn. Bye bye.